Hello and welcome back. In this lesson, we are going to look at some code that will show us what is a session and what is a cookie in the browser context. And before we move on to the next topics in Flask, I think this is important to understand what it is and why it could be useful. So let's go ahead and create a new file. So I'm going to create a file app.py and save this file. As usual, we are going to import the modules. So from Flask with lowercase f, import Flask with uppercase f, and then we are going to import something additional, which is a session. We are also going to import something called as a request. So session we'll use to look at a session, and request we'll use to look at the cookie. So we initialize the app by typing app is equal to Flask uppercase F, and in parentheses we specify the name underscore underscore name. So pretty standard same code that we have been writing so far. Something new that we looked at little bit in .config is app.secret key, and this key is going to be, this is my secret 123. So this is the key that is going to be sort of sealing the cookie, if you will. So think of cookie as an envelope that stays in the browser, and when a user visits the web page, the information about the user is temporarily stored in that envelope, the cookie, and that cookie is sealed by this key. So if the Flask needs to access any of that information for the user from that envelope, it uses this secret key to open it and look at the information, use it, and then uh, again seal it. So it is sort of password protected, so that somebody else uh, cannot tamper with that information of the user in the browser. So that's what the key would be used for. And now what we'll do is again use the decorator app.route and use a single forward slash, so that uh, just tells us that we are looking at the root, which is just this local URL, and in below this is our first function home. And now this home function is going to uh, look at the session. So we'll use session and we'll set the value for user. So let's say the value for user is I'll just put my name Nilesh, and then the session we can set the theme. So theme, let's say the theme is dark, and what this will, so those are the only two things we have for that session. And we are going, what this is going to return, and this return is just so that we can see in the browser uh, what is actually happening in the background. Usually probably won't be showing this to the user, but this is what for us to learn. What we are going to do is use angle brackets p and then closing angle brackets p. This is where we type, that's for paragraph, we'll type session has been set. So we set a session with these values for the user and the theme. Once we do that, then we can create two hyperlinks below it by using a, and so this is the same, we have this setup, angle brackets a and then forward slash a. So close it. Now inside of this a we can write href, so that this is where we are going to hyperlink it. And before we do that, inside of this two angle brackets we are going to type some text that the user would see in the browser. So see session in code, and to hyperlink this, so if the user clicks on this text, the information about that session would appear, and for that we need to use href. So if I type href is equal to, and here we specify the hyperlink. So the hyperlink is going to be c dash session. And you're probably wondering, well, if I use this, where is it? We haven't defined anything of that yet, that sort yet. And that is true. We are going to create another decorator with this route and use that. So the next uh, href or hyperlink we are going to create is for C cookie. So C cookie, and this is going to be the text C cookie in browser. Now browser. This cookie is going to be password protected, so we won't be able to read inside of it. But we'll see like a encrypted text that uh, represents it. All right, so this is good. Next, what we need to do is define our two functions, which is C session and C two functions for these two routes, C session and C cookie. So let's do that. App dot route, and here we are going to put within quotes forward slash C dash session, and the function is going to be C underscore session open close parenthesis, and then we say return, and here we use the uh, of, of f string, which is f, and within quotes we are going to write flask session, and this is going to appear as a python dictionary. And for that, what we can do is put dict. So in dictionary format we'll convert this session, and next we are going to create the route for a C cookie. So forward slash C dash cookie, and again we need a function below it, and the function is going to be the same name, C underscore cookie open close parenthesis, and here we are going to return a f string that gets the cookies. So raw cookies from browser, and here we are going to use the request that we imported above, request dot cookies, and that will get all the cookies from the browser. Awesome. So the last thing we can do is clear, and the reason for that is when the user sort of exits the page, closes it, or logs out, then the session is cleared, and we can clear the session and all of the cookies associated with it by using session.clear. And for that, we again can create another route. Let's say the route is clear, and below that we have the function clear that simply does this session.clear, and it returns text to tell the user that the session has been cleared. So we can say session cleared. Awesome. So this is all we need. Now because we are going to run this file app.py directly in the terminal, we need to type this: if name underscore underscore is equal to main, so underscore underscore main, and inside of this we are going to type app.run and set the debug is equal to true. Cool. So with this, I think our code is ready, and we can now run this file in the terminal. So here I am, type python. I'm already in L77 folder, which we created our project in the VS Code. Now just type python app.py, and looks like this is running. So here is what we need to type in the browser or copy paste it, and that's what I already have. So I'm going to overwrite that, And when we press enter on this, you'll see a couple of things have happened. We see session has been set, and we see that session has been set, the text that we have here. So oh, this appears in the same line. So what we can do is just put a break. I'm going to rerun this and just refresh this. So now we see session in code. That's C session in code. That's the hyperlink we created, and the second is C cookie in browser. So that's this one, C cookie in browser. Now, if we go down to, so this is in Firefox. So if you are in Firefox, create right click and click on inspect. So let me close this. If you click on inspect, this is what opens, and so let's try that again. And here, if I go to storage, and then if you go to this left tab where it says cookies, you click on that, you see that's the URL we are on, 127.0.0.1 colon 5000, and that's, if you click on that, this is the value we have. This is the session, that's the name, that's the session. And this entire thing is the cookie, and it has this value which is sort of EYJ0. That's password protected, and we cannot look inside of that. So what we are going to do is we are going to click on this session in browser, and then I'm going to click on C cookie in browser both. So this when we click on C session in code, this is the decorator that comes into action, and this function is run. So we should see Flask session Python dictionary, and here it is, Flask session Python dictionary, and this is the information about the session that we had set earlier, where we said user is Nilesh, theme is dark, and that is the exact thing. Dark theme, user Nilesh, those are the two key value pairs separated by a comma inside of these curly braces. That tells us that that's the dictionary. Then to see the cookie, as you can see here, I'm going to again go to the inspect and go to storage, and here we have, so you see that this value EYJ0, that is this particular string that is up here, and so that's password protected, and that's the sort of encrypted string, if you will. Now, one thing that we haven't done yet is cleared the session. So if we go here and copy this URL that we have, the local URL, and in front of this, if we navigate to the clear uh, web page and run this, as you would expect, it will run this function, this function clear. It will clear the session and return the text session cleared back to the browser, and this is what we see. Now, has the session been cleared? Do we Can we see that? And if we go back here to the cookie, you see that this is now blank, no data present for selected host, and that's because we cleared the session. It's no longer there, and so that's what this was. Right. So with this, I hope you got at least some intuition about what is a session, and what, so session is the sort of the process, I think, where the user is interacting, and Flask is using session to move that information about the user from front end to back end, and then, or in the browser, within the browser, and cookie is a sort of a storage box or an envelope that is sealed with a secret key which the session can access, because session knows the secret key, and it is like a temporary storage box. So while the user is on that URL or website, it the session has uh, a means to put and retrieve information from that cookie, and after the session is over, that's when the user exits or closes the website, the session can be cleared, and thus all the information from the cookie is and sort of deleted, and the cookie itself is no longer there, I guess. All right, so with that, we'll stop this lesson, and we'll continue again in the next video. Look at another topic in Flask. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please do let me know in the comment section below. I hope to see you all in the next video again. Thank you.